Welcome everybody to Muchacha Chala con Paula Leon. That's me. Today I have with me Toni Reutter. Toni Reutter is a Chilean, New York-based singer-songwriter and producer who recently has released her first single, Stolen, on DVD. And also she's created a poetry Instagram account called Sin Correcciones. So be sure to check that out. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here. So let's get started. So you're from Chile. What has the experience been like coming from Chile to New York to the USA? Like, have you noticed any changes? Was anything particularly difficult to adapt to?
I think it was hard for me just because I've lived my whole life in Santiago, Chile, and like I never moved anywhere. So it was like a culture shock just coming here and like everything being in English, like not having my food, not having like my typical parties, bars, music. Like that was kind of hard to adapt to, and like initially I honestly didn't like it a lot. Like I was super homesick. But I also did go to an international school, so like it I was kind of like used to having like different cultures and like being friends with people from all over the world. So in that sense, like I found a lot of comfort in having international friends, that also came from different parts of the world, and like we bonded over at the beginning feeling uncomfortable a little bit with where we were. I have like one group of friends that is like a bunch of Latinas and Latinos, and that's super fire because that feels like home. And then I also have my like music group of friends that are like from Europe and the US, and so it ended up being great, and now I love it. Like now I'm super comfortable. I know where to go if I want to like listen to my music. I know where to go to eat like my food, so I adapted and I love it.
How do you feel your culture has influenced like your work, like your music?
It was much more evident before than it is now, just because like the single I released, Stolen DVD, that one is much more of a pop, like alternative pop song, which is a lot influenced by here, like moving here. But initially I started doing music, and I used to write like Latin folklore, como folklore latino.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial songs were like very much like acoustic guitar, like inspired by artists such as Violeta Parra, Silvio Rodriguez, Daimea Rosena, Natalia Lafourcade, like all these like Latin artists, Jorge Drexler. And so it was much more that vibe. Now I'm more into pop and everything, but I always take all those things that I've learned, and I'm super into like fusion of like Latin rhythms with pop melodies, fusion of like Latin harmony with modern and futuristic pop sounds. So like it is definitely present in my work, and I still like, you can see my guitar, all the songs I write are in guitar. Like I always am reading a book in Spanish. Like I write poetry in Spanish mostly, so like it's definitely in the foundation of everything I do.
Qué lindo. I love that. So beautiful. So now some little cute little fun questions. What is your favorite Latinx dish?
This is such a hard question. Okay, from Chile, probably empanada de pino, which is like una empanada with like beef and like cebolla and everything inside, which is so fire. Love it. And if not that, then pastelera, which is basically like choclo, but without, it's just like you put like sugar on it, but it's like salty and it's just really good, and you put it in the oven. It's fire. And then I love Peruvian food, and I would have to say lomo saltado, like always. Un buen pisco sour. I'm 21, okay, I can say that. So, but yeah.
No, pisco sours, they're so good. They're so good, and you gotta be careful with them.
Yeah.
What is your favorite or craziest superstition that you've ever heard?
Of like Latinos, like of our country?
Sí, puede ser así, or like whatever one. For me, it's like always that question goes to like Latino superstitions.
Craziest superstition. Well, I mean, I don't think this is like a Latino thing, but like I never pass the salt in like anyone's hand. I don't know if that's like Latino or like worldwide, but you say that when you pass the salt in like from hand to hand, you fight with the person you pass it to. So like I never do that. And then we also have this like weird like story that I can't, like legend, como leyenda, that I can't remember the name of. Lauco, something like that. But it's like this like ugly man that appears at night and steals children. I'm pretty sure that's from the south of Chile. I just can't remember the name, but it's really freaky, and it used to freak me out.
Where would you like to go visit?
In the world in general, or Latin America?
No, in the world.
In the world, I mean, I was very lucky to visit Japan, which is one of the places that I wanted to visit. I love Japan. I want to live there. So that was fire. And the second place I really wanted to visit, I also had the opportunity to visit, which was Hawaii, which I'm also moving there, which I love because I love the beach. So definitely going back there is like a huge thing. I really want to go to Berlin because my dad's German. So fun fact. So I'm learning German right now, and I want to go there. And then in Latin America, there's so many places I still haven't gone to. I really want to go to Colombia. I haven't been there. Nor have I been to Brazil. So yeah.
It's on the list. What is a fun fact about your country that you think people don't normally know?
We invented avocado toast. We did. And you know what it's called? Pan con palta. And it's simple, and you eat it all the time. It literally will cost $1. Like, it is not a $15 I can't say bad words. It's not a $15. Sorry. This gets me mad. No. But it's just like a simple thing we eat in the morning. We eat it at like 5 p.m. and we eat it at night. And it's just bread and avocado on top with like olive oil. Super yum. So I think we invented it. I don't know if that's true, but I think it is.
Yeah, I have no idea, because like when I was younger, mi papá siempre pan con palta, así nomás.
Es
like
como lo más común del mundo. And then you come here and it's like avocado toast. And you're like, what?
Arm and a leg, and I'm just like, no, it's not supposed to be this expensive.
No.
Ay. So I feel like vocabulary tends to vary amongst Latin American like countries. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like lost in translation, or do you think there's like a specific word in a different language that means something completely different to you that you think is really interesting?
No, but it happens to me. Like, it happens to other people with me. Like, everyone says that like Chileno, like the Chilean, is one of the most, if not the most difficult, like Latin, Spanish slang, whatever, ¿cachai? That's Chileno. Like, everything, like literally we speak in slang. That's the thing. Like, it's not like Colombians have like their words, but they speak properly. Like, you understand what they're saying, but everything is like made up, and like we don't finish words. Like, instead of saying like vámonos, we say vámonos. We say po all the time, like in between sentences. We say cachai, no one understands what we're saying. We have like a different word for everything, so no one understands me. It took my Latin friends from the US literally a year and like a half to stop asking me like, what's that? And now it still happens, but they're like more chill about it. So I understand everyone, but no one understands me or the people, like my people. So when you hear two Chileans talk, you're like, what is going on? But that's
that. What do you wish to see more of in terms of your representation?
In general, I think like Latin countries are usually thought of as like one thing. Like, instead of it being like representation for Peru, representation for Brazil, as like different countries that have their own culture, and then they share some stuff that's like the Latin culture, everything is thought of to be Latin culture. And so we get thrown into like these like stereotypical ideas. Like, for example, like this is a very concrete example, like salsa dancing. Like, we don't dance salsa in Chile. I dance salsa because I used to dance. So like that's a very specific thing to me because I was a dancer. But like people in my country don't dance. They actually don't dance like very well. So like it's a stereotype that people are always like, oh, like tacos and like salsa dancing and like tequila, and it's like, no, not really. Like, actually, like we drink pisco. We don't really dance to that. Like, that's not our thing. And like, you know what I mean? Just I kind of hope that people would understand that each of those countries, like Europe, for example, there's some stuff that's European, and then there's some stuff that's specifically of France, of Germany. And like, I feel like people understand that, but they just put us all in one bag. And sometimes that's like annoying.
No.
I'm like ranting. I went off.
No, everything you said is very true. What is something that you're proud of in the moment?
I mean, I'm proud like to be here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I forget because it's so normalized because I've lived here for 2 years and like it's become my new normal. And I went to an international school, so like I have friends that are also studying abroad. But like sometimes I just forget that like where I'm from, many people, like most people don't leave to study at this age. If they do leave and to study abroad, they leave when like to do a master's or like a PhD. Like that's more normal. But like no one leaves their home at like 18 to study in another country, where I'm from at least. And so I like the fact that I had the opportunity to do that, and like the fact that my parents supported me, and that I also took a risk, because sometimes like it's also scary coming here knowing that you are like a minority, like you are like it's so different from your culture, you know, you have all these things like that are give you anxiety, you know, and you just have to do it. And so like I'm proud every day that I'm able to be here and like do what I love. And like the fact that people appreciate my music, being that I'm not from here, like is also so awesome. Like I get invited to a lot of NYU events, and it's like, wow, like they really value what I do, and like I'm representing a country that's not their country. So it feels like I feel super honored to be able to do that.
And I'm so glad to talk to you today and have you here with me. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí hoy día.